Καλησπέρα και από μένα. Αρχικά θέλω να συγχαρώ τους...
Everyone, I would like first of all to congratulate the organizers for AgriBusiness Forum for this event, especially Yiannakakis and of course all the partners and collaborators. I think that this is a very good initiative and I'm really happy that it takes place in the region of Peloponnese on western Greece. I will talk about research and innovation, but before starting with my presentation, I want to say that this government strategy is to try and combine the research that is taking place at the universities with the entrepreneurship and innovation, and this is why the General Secretariat of Research and Innovation now is part of the Ministry of Development. We want to increase the funds of research and development in Greece to receive even more funding, not only from the public but also from the private sector towards R&D. And I would like to give you some data. The goal of the European Commission in 2010 was for all member states of the European Union to 2020 to invest at least 3% of the GDP. I'm talking about private and public expenses in research and innovation. In 2019, Greece ranked 19 since we have invested 1.28% of our GDP, but last year we had the larger increase of the decade, an increase of 17.2% for R&D expenses, and right now we have 1.5% investment of our GDP. However, our goal is every year to spend more on research and development. So how can we do that? The first measure is to increase the tax incentives on R&D. The money that is invested there have tax incentives. This is a very good motive, which is one of the best in the European Union. From 130 now we have increased it to 200%, and we can see entrepreneurship not only in agri-food but also in agricultural technology to invest more on R&D. This motive is already used by very important companies, but it has also helped us to attract investments on technology from Microsoft, Pfizer, Cisco, Amazon Web Services, Applied Materials, TeamViewer and other technology companies. However, apart from tax reductions and incentives, we are doing a lot of work through the National Strategic Reference Framework. I'm talking about a program, Research, Innovate, Produce, and I will talk about that more in a bit. This action tries to bring together research centers, universities and businesses in order to take action together, and the so-called innovation clusters that tries to bring all stakeholders of specific in order to utilize the know-how that each of them have and to bring about common results, as well as the actions of the competence centers that help even SMEs to utilize R&D and expert knowledge that in other case they couldn't have access to, because one needs to invest a lot. Apart from the funding, we should not forget the institutional framework and the operation framework. Recently, we have changed the operation of of the so-called spin-offs in order to give the possibility to those people to do more R&D. And the expert of the offices for the transfer of know-how, which is something that can be found at every university, helps the professors to receive funding. Now let's go to the agri-technology. When it comes to this action, to the research, create, innovate, you can see that the first and second cycle we had 225 projects, and 20%, they are the 20% of the projects. 112 millions was the budget, the public budget, while the total budget is 132 million. Some examples, very quick. For example, the utilization of Greek vine varieties and the use of GNSS, the global navigation system, on telemetric stations on the fields in order to give high quality data and high quality services, and precision farming. As you know, precision farming uses new technologies, even also satellite technology and the analysis of data in order to allow businesses and use them in the best possible way. Now I will give you an example. There are companies that utilize satellite data on an everyday basis in order to understand how the agricultural production is evolving. When do I have to apply fertilizer and where not? Where should I irrigate now? Where there is a problem, for example, in leafy crops. All those practices are used abroad, but in Greece they are not so popular yet. But those techniques and those applications that may seem very futuristic to some of us already exist, and other countries, other neighboring countries already utilize them. Right now it is about time Greece to start using those applications. There is another project on the development of hydroponic farming system, and I know that in the Netherlands they do a lot of work towards this direction. So apart from the National Strategic Reference Framework projects, we collaborate with Dimitris. This organization contributes into the development and modernization of the agri-food sector. We try to implement actions that promote R&D, while and we also try to promote Greek genetic material by using R&D in order to have even better results, and we give opportunities for training to farmers, and the Dimitris is doing an effort to modernize the training programs, which I'm sorry to say, but they were not really good, and they also the Ministry of Agricultural Development offers a lot of support in order to have a common fisheries and agricultural policy. However, which are the actions of the General Secretariat of Research and Technology? We are doing actions for aquaculture. We have two competence centers. This is the action that I have mentioned earlier, and from clusters, from this sector we have approved 7 projects in the agri-food sector, showing that there is a lot of interest to utilize research and innovation. And we also have 3 iconic actions for olive, vineyards and honey. Now, let's talk about innovation. The Greek state, until recently, did not have a policy for the innovation systems and startups. We didn't know how many startups we had, how many people they have, and when you don't have data, you understand that it is very difficult to implement a policy that will be effective. So we have created Elevate Greece, that was a register of startups, but now it is something much more. It is not just a register for startups. Through Elevate Greece, we have for the first time give motives to investors, to angels who invest on startups, and we have given motives to have stock options for the people who work on startups. And we have also done an action in collaboration with the NSRF in order to increase the liquidity of the startups due to the recent pandemic. But apart from public policies, we have also managed to attract a lot of official supporters. Banks, for example, the National Bank is one of our official supporters of Elevate Greece, and they offer specialized products, financial products, or give them access to a worldwide network of innovation, free cloud services, for example, or mentoring and business planning services, awards, or other things to the startups. So the agri-food sector has 42 registered startups in Elevate Greece and more than 265 workers, and they have they have taken more than 218 million euros as funding. So apart from the business model, you will see that the main business model is B2B, business to business. They sell to wholesalers, so to say, and the B2G, the blue part of that pie, which means that the part that they sell to the government is 8%, and which are the sources of funding. You can see here that we had a very low part of angels, investor angels, or venture capital funds, which are the main financial tool of startups. And this is a very important message that we can draw from those data. Compared to other sectors where the main financing comes from venture capitals, when it comes to the agri-food sector, we can see that the main funding are private equity. So venture capitals, let's say, are not yet convinced that they have to give funding to startups that work on the agri-food business sector. Now, when it comes to the income model, 1 out of 4 startups makes money out of a product. Then we have the charges for subscription. For example, contract farming with a lot of farmers, and they utilize the product and the company sells it to other companies, and those multinational companies approach startups to help them when it comes to the quality of their products. We have a lot of examples from northern Greece, mainly businesses that utilize new technology, for example satellite technology, drones and sensors, or a combination of all the above, in order to understand which is the best possible way to apply the inputs. And they allow farmers to have their daily calendar and they can discuss it with the experts, the agronomists, on how to resolve them. Those examples already exist in Greece. When it comes to the technology used, mainly we talk about the Internet of Things. I understand that farmers have difficulties understanding those issues, but our goal is to be able to follow the future of the agricultural technology and to understand how we can utilize new technologies more. Last but not least, here you can see a slide that is really concerning. We have the allocation per region of startups. Of course, I'm talking about startups of the agri-food sector. One can understand that the region of Western Greece and the region of the Peloponnese, the geographical region of Peloponnese, if I may say so, has a zero. We don't have startups at all, not even one. I'm talking about the ones that are registered in our registry. This is a message that should concern us all in order to find measures. I know that most startups are based in Attica. I'm talking only about the agri-food sector, and then the region of Central Macedonia, Crete, Western Greece has 7%. The geographical region of Peloponnese has 0 startups registered. So this 0 is a very concerning message, if I may say so. We are discussing with the regions and with a lot of governors, Mr. Farmakis and Mr. Nikas included, in order to find ways to utilize funding tools from the regions that will allow startups, that will allow people that have the knowledge and the possibility to contribute towards this sector to keep the seat of their startups in their relevant region. I would like to thank you, and I'm at your disposal for any kind of question that you may have. Thank you very much.